Hey, Dr. Brad Murray here, using the social distancing opportunity to go through some of the workouts I tend to do at home style workout. Doing it here in the office today, but this is what we can do. Just need a pull-up bar. Essentially the main focus of this workout is going to be back pull day, pulling back muscles, shoulder positioning, whole upper limb really, grip strength, everything across the board. Real upper limb pull style day today. And how I frame a workout like that is around pull-ups right now. I've been doing a lot of chin-up style. Works good for me and my elbows, doesn't strain anything. Sometimes I find wider grip pull-ups can be a little bit harder on my elbows. I gotta work up to those slowly and steadily if I don't want those guys to get grumpy with me and keep my shoulder blades nice and mobile. Anyways, this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna do 100 pull-ups today. We're gonna focus on some mobility up through upper limb, upper body, thoracic spine, core area, shoulder girdle for sure. Make sure things are moving while I'm going through. Take quite a bit of time in between reps, usually 2 to 5 minutes, sometimes even more. Depends on how high energy I'm feeling, what the heart rate variability was looking like that morning and how much sleep I got, especially deep sleep. So just follow along, and like I said, kind of typical pull day. Always gonna begin with a warm up of a bunch of squats. Done my morning squats already, so this is more of just getting things moving, getting my blood going, getting ready to activate the lats and back, get everything fired up. About 40 or so here to start, I think. 50's good too. As soon as I start to feel like I'm going, that means it's about time to get some push-ups in, get the upper body blood flowing. And then I kind of get into some basic mobility work. Sometimes I go straight to camels before I'll do squats. We're gonna do some straight from push-ups to, straight from squats to push-ups. Sometimes I look back and forth to keep my neck muscles or upper traps from getting too tight. Okay, it's about 50 of those guys. Feel like the heart's going a little bit here. Time to start working in a little bit of slowing down mobility work. Gonna get into camels. Making sure you're tucking that pelvis. You're not coming forward on those legs. We're not getting real low with the arms. Should be loose, stacked. Should be generating a lot of that motion with the pelvic muscles. Bringing the shoulder blades back and down just for a good lower trap squeeze. See if we can just lower them. Head motions can go into full flexion extension. Feeling pretty good there. A little tight. Usually next I'll go right into some upper body rolling. Start with open books. Lots of these done over the years. Really good just to get the whole shoulder girdle rolling, moving. Depending on how I'm feeling, and if I had just done an upper body day earlier, if I'm feeling tight, or off a game of golf where real armsy, feel real tight up top. I might do more, depending on, sometimes up to dozens. But right now I'm feeling okay up top. So in that circumstance, I'll just see once I get to full range. I'll do a few, and then kind of skip to something that's a little bit more intensive for range of motion, a little bit tighter. Going to the right, a couple of the cues, pushing down on the back of this hand. That's gonna help coordinate some of those big rollers of your shoulder girdle, thoracic spine, rib cage area. So then once they've been active, you should get a little bit more range there. Gonna come around the top a few times here. Pretty good there. No problem. At the end of last hockey season, hurt some ribs on the right, kind of messed with my golf swing. I was having trouble side bending. So right now still, I can even feel it. Talk about how long ribs take to repair. Your body has this pesky necessity to keep breathing. So they're always moving. So it takes a long time before those slight little pain grabs don't mess with the muscles and you don't guard consciously or unconsciously. So it's a kind of ongoing project for me, keeping this open. Keeping the left glute loose as the right glute, things like that. Always, we all have them. Just a matter of trying to not let them overtake us. We do want to get our first set in. How I'm going to go about this is I'm going to be working on the mobility work in between sets of, in this case, anywhere from 8 to 12. I'm going to do 3 sets of 12 body weight neutral grip pull-ups. I'm going to do 3 of those as kind of a warm-up. I'm going to get the 25-pound plate between my knees. I'm going to hit 4 sets into 25-pound plate, 8 each set of that, and they're going to finish off with another 3 sets of 12 neutral grip pull-ups. So here's the first one. Okay, like I said, typically in between I'll do some mobility work and stretch everything out, keep everything moving. And usually I like to take 2+ minutes in between. I've seen anywhere from 2 minutes to 20 minutes being ideal if you're gonna work some higher end power and strength. I usually don't have that kind of time, so I try to use 2 to 5, which is also recognized. Okay, I'm gonna go through some thread the needles here, some more upper body mobility work in between sets, like I said. One of the keys here is you try to keep your hips in about the same place. As you're reaching through, you're gonna get to quite a bit of bowing. And getting all the way through to tap the shoulder blade down flat on that spine is good. I'm sitting back a little bit here. It's a pattern that I get into. Try to keep your spine elongated as flat as you can, pelvis. Usually doing 3 comfortable breaths, couple comfortable breaths. Once I get to end range, trying to breathe out to increase range. challenging day, press day, I tend to find to be less fatiguing for me. Everybody's a little bit different. So this is where often I'll throw in some lower body proprioception type stuff too, some stretching of my feet, balance type work. I know that I'll watch my heart rate, and if it's not coming back down for me to where I need it to be, where I'm ready to do another set, kind of just try to slow into some control type maneuvers to give myself that break until I feel like I'm recovered enough to hit it again. Which, second set, pull-ups. Important to remember with these guys, I always try to sort of imagine I'm getting a bit of a tilt back, and then I'm pulling my elbows down and into myself, where I'm sort of not trying to get up to the bar, trying to feel more like I'm bringing the bar to me. I tend to get a little bit of extra thoracic extension with that, but really a big helper for the shoulder is to make sure that really you're just getting to that side spinal angle. So the arm's nice and tucked in against that lat, but we're not collapsing that angle forward to kind of wrestle our way up. Should feel like we're, once again, pulling back with those big back muscles. It's a back exercise. Don't just use your arms, use your whole back to pull through. That's gonna be the sensation of squeezing the shoulder blades together and down, and it's again, pulling the bar close to you, like if you're gonna grab somebody and pull them. It's not the same as trying to get yourself up and over the bar. Okay. One of my favorite shoulder mobility maneuvers is the classic arm bar, sort of like a bit of a step up from the open book. Now it is sort of important with this one, just that we check that we got okay shoulder range to begin with. So getting on your side, arms straight out, and sort of being able to roll over so your chest is perpendicular to the floor. That's going to be sort of a rough estimate of having 90 degrees of shoulder abduction. That's a kind of a clearing test for this. If that's giving you shoulder pain and you're all locked up top, you know, this is a bit further than that, but definitely that roll to test the shoulder out, how it's functioning with the shoulder blade and the thoracic spine, which is the key to the shoulder. It's a solid self-test. Oh, bringing these guys in. Key to this one when you first started is getting the transition from your foot behind you to knee contact on this side. You feel a little unsteady here as you're coming over. The kettlebell sort of weighted funny. So as you come over, it's a little bit of work to get there. But the goal is face down, pelvis down. Both bony parts of the pelvis are flat down. And this arm straight to your side. Way up, you'll find it more challenging. You'll try to shoot down, use your bicep more. Try to keep it straight up like you're pushing it through the roof. And you can add some add-ons to this. I like to get them going if I'm feeling good like I am today. Not too tight in the upper body. Get some rolls going here, corkscrews. Classic rotator cuff coordination with a stable shoulder blade. Get really fancy, you can do some scapular depression retractions from here, a little bit of elbow bending, really feeling that pull through that whole shoulder girdle. Both sides.
right side's feeling a lot tighter through my hips and pelvis, which is normal after golf. It kind of keeps some tension in that trail right. Low back area, hips. So just going to do a few more on the right side to kind of feel that release a little bit. Kind of play with my pelvic angle sometimes to kind of get that low back to release, relax. Let the upper body take control of the motion a bit more. And when that sort of opens up, that's when you usually get a lot more mobility afterwards. Okay, gonna do the last 12 pull-ups for the ramp up. Let everything settle out there a little bit. Yeah, definitely feel looser. All the way through the rib cage, shoulders. Okay. Starting to feel like, what are we, 36 in? Definitely feeling those last few reps are working a little bit now. Excited to add the weight. So, like I was talking about, I'm going to do a little bit of balance work, sort of some traditional work. It's on stuff like Bosu ball here. Great product for an athlete to have. You know, I'm not all about the crazy, super complicated balance stuff, but regularly going one leg to the other leg. So good to see how stable your pelvis is on both sides while you're trying to do things. Regardless of people that go over the top with it, it's a really important part of training. Both sides up is what Bosu stands for. The dome side causes the foot to move around a lot more, whereas the flat side is more of a platform. The foot's going to stay supported and flat most of the time. You can obviously use your muscles in the foot, but far more emphasis on the hip with the flat, firm side, more emphasis on the foot and lower leg on the dome side. So like I said, lower leg, smaller muscle, help get my heart rate down, get used to some control. So when stepping on this guy, it's all about getting your hips back to stay stable so you can kind of lock that hip and then allow the foot to adjust to all the different perturbations with this. Feeling right now, it's been a couple weeks since my last good run. I'm already feeling my lower legs have a little bit of weakness there that they didn't have a couple weeks ago. So that's, you know, one constant reminder for us all. I tend to use running shoes that are much more of a flat sole, responsive type sole, not necessarily the individual toes, no, not that at all, but just like a thin pliable sole. That way you can feel the ground more and feel your foot muscles working. They support the arch, plantar fascia, everything up your lower limb. That arch is crucial to the support of my muscle, not just a sort of plastic support for it. You need to strengthen that area. Keep it strong and responsive and healthy. And it helps, you can't just transition right away to those shoes either. To slowly transition. If you're used to the big cast, super supported running shoes and you try to go to something that's way less supportive than that, it'll be a problem. Your muscles will work at you. It'll be too much too quick. Okay, just trying to get out of this, I think. So we're gonna go 8. Okay, 8-ish. said, I've been doing more pull-up style, rather chin-up style pull-ups, and even just a slight change, which I haven't done in a while. I feel quite a bit more weakness just going from this to this. But it's good. It's good to change it up, obviously. Okay. Gonna keep stretching out the upper body. We're gonna go to a maneuver that's like the self-test. Just gonna be lying face down and sort of creeping the arm away as you roll yourself all the way over. The lower you are, less challenging. You want to make sure you've got this shoulder blade pinned down and you're not straining your rotator cuff. The higher you go, even just slightly above, it's far more challenging, be more delicate in that area. But you can feel elbow strain with that, especially if you're having elbow problems that are related to the shoulder. Stretch out the shoulder girdle with a strap assisted stretch I like, or you can use an knee band. What I'm going to do with this one is just get that arm all stretched out, let that lat really stretch at the top, and even a little roll of the hips and pelvis to open up the whole side is good. And then you can sort of reach towards the bar and do some scapular side opening pumps all the way open into that side. Then sat back into your hip while you're sort of opening that whole shoulder up. One side looks quite a bit different from the other side. Right side always tighter, especially after, like I said, the rib issue that I was working on with and through. Reaching into some moves sometimes to mobilize those ribs while I'm stretching that area. Still sensitive. About full year ago that I heard those guys. Another great drill that I like to go through for, especially when we're doing some pulls, working through the spines with such quite a bit of strength, is make sure I'm opening the low back with just some lighter weight J curls, Jefferson curls. Sort of stole from gymnastics. It's just about letting each individual vertebrae separate from one another in flexion and returning back same way. One vertebrae folding back over the other and do an extension position. Slow and controlled, and try to just work one area at a time. Keep your chin tucked in the whole time. Toes are just, balls of the toes are just over. I'm going to try to keep most of my weight like flat through the foot and not come up. Keep the heel weight heavy for sure. And then at the bottom, can you release that pelvis a bit and always tuck the pelvis first to try to come up to feel that stretch all the way through the back and not just one area. as you sort of elongate it at the bottom. Try to get little gains more so as you breathe out. Try to control your breath. Try to use your core muscles to double yourself over as you try to get that extra bit of flexion at the bottom. And bring the pelvis back through when you come back up to save your back. Make sure the hips are doing their job still. Last one, usually I find 3 to 5 of these are plenty. Now I did notice with that, each rep, I was continually getting down, and usually if I'm doing that, I'll stick with it and I will keep searching that end range as long as nothing's feeling pain and everything keeps opening up. Today's not strict mobility. I'm kind of using it as an adjunct or supportive exercises to the main goal here today, which are these 100 pull-ups. So that's, once again, typically how I want to use mobility work, is that keep getting gains, keep posturing it, keep getting the coordination of the bigger muscles, getting to activate in more full ranges of motion. And they respond well. It's good for me to work in full ranges under controlled circumstances. Okay, need more of these guys. Longer of a break in between there, I think. Felt my heart rate responded a little bit better. Came down a little bit better. Maybe that's why I was able to feel like that felt a little bit less on the perceived exertion scale. But one more weighted, 2 more weighted, 3 more body weight. Halfway there, 5 done. Gonna go back and gonna get in a few more arm bars. Definitely, if you're finding with the arm bars, if you can't get your whole pelvis flat all the way down and you're sort of still up like this a little bit even, then it's definitely better to sort of work the control through bringing the arm up, getting to the spot you can get to, and sort of coming back under control. That's sort of how we turn this exercise almost into sort of reps and sets to strengthen the scapular stabilizers, strengthen the core muscles, learn that control, slowly increase the range of motion with those. Very, very effective to open up those shoulders that with all the sitting and screen work that we do now are chronically tight, really. And same thing once again, we're gonna get in on the left side. So I'm gonna just get up and use it sort of like some reps in between, more so than the full mobility style exercise. Always as I'm arching up, I feel some tension in my low back as well. It's an exercise that I work into some reverse crunches, where sort of I'm trying to keep my spine flat, rolling my pelvis through, sort of knees toward armpits. Get the front core muscles that tilt the pelvis posteriorly or all the way through to start working good, working well. Coordinated, this releases the top section of the hip flexor, the psoas majors and minor, just allows that area of the low back to decompress a little bit. That's where the top of the hip flexors actually attach. So this gets my deep core of these guys. Feel them all the way down into your groin. Really working well. Once I feel like I can drop my low back, the low back stays down. I'm not like arching my back, I'm keeping it flat all the way through. Then I can even work some lumbar flexions. You can see the pelvis is just gonna tilt that little bit extra, and different hip angles, you're gonna feel it in different aspects of the low back multifidus muscle as you do that. Then I'll often, to keep my back moving well in deflection and uniformity, sometimes you can all get rolled forward at the top a little bit, and this sort of helps unravel a bit. I'll work into some rocks all the way back, keeping that core active as we come all the way through. Searching with those legs, I feel a lot of stretch all the way through hips, pelvis, low back. And as I'm rolling, I'm trying to drop that spine, sort of like a rocking chair, and not hitting any flat spots. Project pull up over here. Sometimes I like to keep the legs straight. Sometimes I cross them. Sometimes I cross them behind. Often I'll use a belt as a belt. I only use like a hockey lace tied up tight with maybe a towel wrapped around my waist underneath. This is light enough that I can usually control with my legs. These are a bit slippery on my compression wear, but woohoo. Examples where sometimes you try to get into a program and it's definitely a little harder than I thought it was going to be. Try not to adjust them, I try to work through, see how tomorrow feels, the next day feels, and it's like, oh, I went a little heavy form, got a bit sloppy, readjust. I've failed at this so many times. Okay, I'm going to just work into a few sort of low back reaches, extensions all the way out. It's gonna help sort of lengthen or decompress the spine. When we really extend the hip, elongate, open up pelvis, and then do reaching motions with our upper limb. We're able to sort of do some neural stretching, excuse me. So I like to sort of get that nice stacked spine position. See, if I'm in the wrong spot and I try to push, I end up all bucked, all bent up, and all moving through my spine. I want to get that spot where I feel flat, and then I got a bit of extra kick, where I know I'm elongated a bit, and then I like to do some stability type motions like this. Sometimes I'll open my hip up. This would be when I'm feeling tension, compression through the low back, like I said. Sometimes with the weights, I'll get myself arching too much and feel that tension there. This is how I unravel myself so I can get away with the imperfections we all have. Really struggling to keep that pelvis nice and flat and secure. A lot of core work going on there, obviously, and that loosens up the hip. Got all that spinal support, body feels it. Allows some of that deep hip to release, and allows that pelvis to get to a nice stacked position so I'm not over accentuating and over stressing the lower back. I'm going to do another variation of a lat stretch that I often do and I like. We often have to use tricks to get different areas of the body not to compensate through this motion. And just like I'm struggling with, I'm trying to keep the low back out of it. So I'm going to keep my hips back as far as I can while I go to some full range lat stretching, pressing above, pressing down, just to work that area that's a little bit weaker in all of us, to stretch open and relax. I'm trying to feel my chest push down the best I can. Because like I said, this is a tight area for me. Sometimes I struggle with this to control it. You don't want to be sort of kind of pulling up everything. You want to keep the spine still as you can and sort of just feel that lift coming through the shoulder blade versus stressing the shoulder or the back. Pretty low here. Snaps, cracks, pops, kind of mid-back neck area. You're going from a rounded position to sort of forcing it into an extension and then forcing some end range to open up there. Great for shoulder health, shoulder motion, but a little stressful, a little hard on the shoulders. Can't work too much of it too often. Okay. Yeah. Last 8 with the weight. Okay, happy to see the end of this guy. Let's see if I can cheat my way to 8 here. Call it a 7. 3 left now. I'm gonna do 3 more 12 reps with just the body weight. Should feel light after that. Okay. Now we're gonna keep working the shoulder ranges of motion with a couple stretches I like. Golf club. Great device for stretching. Especially position that a lot of golfers and a lot of people are tight is front of that shoulder. As you come into that backswing, a lot of guys get caught, get trapped because their arm and body doesn't go back far enough. So they get like this chopped off backswing, they hack at it. So sort of getting this guy back and open and really sort of allowing everything to push back and rotate open, keeping the hips loose. So this is coming through the shoulder girdle area and not coming all through the hips. But pretty simple, you just grab it onto the head of a long club, let everything come back, and then sort of working back, depending on the range of motion we're trying to get. I'm not doing a lot of pulling with this arm. Mostly I'm kind of cramming it open. Because as you get up into a position like even this is weighted and weak, but then I can increase where I am, do a little bit of tug of wars back and forth. That's gonna open that chest up quite a bit. Another one I like to do, another sort of general upper body opener. Roll a towel up, do classic dislocates where you're gonna come all the way up and back, sort of getting that overhead squat type position. So those arms are nice and separate, so we can clear those hips and come down. into a full position. Sometimes I'll open the shoulders, sometimes I'll get down and get just into top position, which would look something like this from the side. And just work on keeping the hips back far enough. As the arms get over the head, it gets real easy to sort of bow forward. So kind of keeping some tension on here keeps the shoulder girdle nice and active, particularly those mid and upper traps, to hold that position and keep that shoulder moving. It's really good when you get down and take your back out of it to see if you got the full separation from all the big power producing muscles at the front of your shoulder complex. Okay, doing okay for time here. Now a typical routine like this would easily take me an hour, which is probably have time for that. You can see I'm not huffing and puffing and sweating the whole time. No, most of the time I'm preparing the body to do the most challenging movement that I'm working today. Whether that be a bench press, a dip, a pull up, weight pull, whatever happens to be the focus currently in my training. All this stuff is adjunct accessory movements to the major movement. Which is today's pull up. Let's do a dozen. Okay, 8 sets down, 2 to go. Definitely get the sensation when I get into this portion that we're now bringing things back down, cooling down a bit, getting some gentle sort of full range motions, just like we were doing with the towel and golf club. So now sometimes I'll even get into a little bit of, okay, I didn't focus much on my legs with much of this workout today, so let's do some mobility work, and that might even be something like a slant board. Make sure the calves are open. Pretty easy to accumulate tension there. Want to be able to stand on a slant with control. We'll work some of that. Work some rotation of the hip and rotation of that arch of the foot with the different hip angles as I go through them. Tight calves, tight posterior kinetic chain, whether it be lack of hip extension, tight hamstrings, tight calves, arches that are seem to be prone to plantar fasciitis, or plantar fasciopathies rather. We get this posterior chain opened up. Often that takes the stress off the Achilles for sure. Arch of the foot, plantar fasciopathies, chronic hamstring pulls, sometimes unilateral SI joint pain. All these things can benefit from making sure our ankles are mobile enough. Exercise I like to do to open up once again top of the shoulder, where I get something like a kettlebell, just small enough that I can manipulate it and get everything set back. My neck, whole shoulder blade is set back, my whole spine's flat, and now I'm just working through the shoulder ranges of just the shoulder blade itself. See what I'm feeling, see where it's feeling weak. You can feel back and forth is far weaker than the up and down motions, but it helps set everything back and down quite well. And you'll notice usually that one side's bound up more, making sure we're keeping everything flat with the spine, trying not to get the elbow to do the work. That's classic switcheroo for your shoulder, trying to get all the anterior structures, supraspinatus, which attaches anterior deltoid, biceps, all these muscles to overwork pec minor. So if we keep the elbow locked straight, we can really get pure scapular range. You can see how much my shoulders want to cheat right here. Okay. Always feel better through this area after doing work like that. You know, I'm constantly telling patients with neck pain radiating down to the arm or neck pain radiating up to the back of the skull, if we can get that shoulder blade to release, that whole area just discontinues the tension that it has. Those are some really big muscles that move that shoulder blade around. We've got to make sure they're staying really good and mobile. The more they come up, the more they lock the nerves in place and you get nerve tension and radiates to elbow and hand. It can complicate what really is carpal tunnel and what is just a lot of neck and shoulder tension that's accumulated over God knows how much trauma, how much sitting, how much stress through life. Just a really common area to be tight. Okay, 2 more sets left. Let's get one more out of the way here, I hope. Okay, I think so far we're down about 3 reps or so in our total. All those missed reps. On to an 11th set. We'll get to that number 100. Okay, gonna work another scapular stabilizing exercise I really like, the bands. Again, key here, spine's down, shoulder blades are tucked in. We got a nice military chest with the shoulder blades where they need to be, without a bunch of spine motion. Now, from here, simple. I don't need all the way up. I just need some degrees of separation here. They're all generated by the shoulder girdle, not the spine, and not only the rotator cuff. You can see with these types of motions too, how with each rep, I try to explore a little bit more range of motion. Once I feel like, okay, I got that to where I wanted to be. It didn't feel super stable up top to start. Work that range, got those muscles to fire away the way that I wanted them to, which is primarily stabilization effect from a posterior tilt, retraction, depression, and even upward rotation a little bit for sure. But I've probably thrown in more different mobility exercises today than I typically would. That just being because I wanted to show more variety than just more of the same, although you'll see some repetition over the upcoming days. Okay. One more left, a couple more seconds to go here. Often I'll finish off a workout like this with 20 minutes, say, on a treadmill. Might be full incline, at just like a good fast walk pace, not holding on. Just walking to make sure you use those pelvic stabilizers. Might be a 4.0, 3.5, something where I got a good march going, full 15 incline, and like I said, about 20 minutes. Usually that's good enough to get my heart rate close to 80% max, which is the zone that I'm trying to train right now. I'm trying to make my sort of 20 minutes of physical activity as effortless as possible. Right now, that's the goal. So that's one of the ways that I'm trying to do that, accomplish that goal on top of some general strength maintenance type maneuvers like we're working here. Okay. Okay, 3 more. We're gonna finish 1 more set of 6 within about 2 minutes. Do a little bit more balance work and more just talking about what I want to see with balance work, a way to effectively improve it as quickly as possible. We're doing one-legged work. We want to make sure that we're using hips to stabilize, that we're not sort of getting up and trying to balance on our tippy toes and everything's coming from a bunch of ankle wobbling. I want to see us open up a bit and be back and seated as opposed to way forward with our knee. If we're way forward, it takes your hips out of it, forces the leg to work a bit harder. Now, that's an okay compensation, leg's strong, big set of muscles. But the problem with that is it takes out the biggest set of muscles. So we want more hip, not less hip. So here we are, my hip's back, and I'm feeling like I'm trying to crush the mat. Like I'm doing a leg press, boom, down into the mat the whole time. So the leg press is happening, so I feel the stability from the hip, and then just trying to keep everything nice and stable with small little adjustments. Foot and toe, I'm feeling that knee press open while I'm doing it. That allows me to use the hip a little more effectively. I don't want all the weight on my toes. That takes my hip out of it, so I can't use it as much. We do want to use what we call 3-point axis, being base of big toe, base of little toe, and your heel. The more sort of weight your heel can handle, the more we can use those areas of the forefoot as struts and be able to help with the balance along with the hip, and then free up that knee, because we want to free up the knee. The more we free up the knee to slingshot back and forth, the more speed PI, the more stability we have at the foot when it impacts the ground, and directly addressed at the hip, the more our body's going to allow us to open up and really get a stride going. So this is an effective way to help promote that from a control perspective. 6 more of these to do. Okay. Okay. So that was a good one. That was a hard one. Definitely got the heart rate up there. I'm feeling good. Feeling like a nice challenge. Got a little bit of a glow going. Once again, I'm a quote guy. Can leave you with a quote. Definitely right now, things can seem a little harder than they have been in the days leading up to now. So we're under their social distancing and quarantine. It's so important to keep positive. You know, if we're not able to stay positive, find joy in things and find happiness, then you know that's a perspective thing that you're applying. If you don't look for happiness, you're certainly not going to find it. Come through with a positive attitude. Happiness is a journey. It's not a path. Be safe. Be smart.